Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good morning to all of our listeners here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Welcome to another edition of Front and Center, where we put very significant issues affecting our country, the Philippines, as our program title says, Front and Center. On behalf of our colleague Jerome Toledo, I am your host for today, Steph Vicente, joining you all for a 30-minute worth of talk discussing important matters with our government officials, people from the private sector, or even members of the academe. As seen through our video live streaming, you may watch and listen to Front and Center through our official Facebook page. Just search Radyo Pilipinas World Service. The same goes for our official YouTube channel. Meanwhile, we also have an audio live streaming thanks to the Evox PBS receiver app. You may download the said mobile application via Google Play Store if you are using an Android phone or via App Store if you are using an iPhone. Once you have entered the Evox PBS receiver app, just find the logo of Radyo Pilipinas World Service in order for you to be able to listen live to our programs such as Front and Center. We are also back on shortwave radio starting this December, as Front and Center is part of our English service, which airs from 10 o'clock to 11:30 in the morning, Philippine Standard Time. You may listen to us via the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. Let me just repeat our shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. For today's edition of Front and Center, we are going to talk about the past travel here in the Philippines by the Bondi Beach gunmen, Sajid and Navid Akram. Let's have a short recap on what actually transpired or happened. Just last Sunday, a terrorist mass shooting occurred at Archer Park beside Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia in the late afternoon during a Hanukkah celebration attended by approximately 1,000 people. Two gunmen shot at the crowd, killing 15 people, including a child. Police and Australian intelligence agencies declared it an Islamic State-linked terrorist incident, and numerous world leaders, news outlets, and Australian authorities described it as anti-Semitic. It is noted that a month before the shooting incident, these gunmen made the trip to our country. To know more about the travel details of Sajid and Navid Akram while they were here in the Philippines, we will be joined by Bureau of Immigration or BI spokesperson Ms. Dana Sandoval. Meanwhile, let's have some reminders from our station.
Mabilisang trivia, dagdag talino. Heto na ang Dagling Kaalaman.
Alam mo ba, kumakain daw ng sarili ang ating utak araw-araw? Ang prosesong ito ay tinatawag na phagocytosis, kung saan ang mga cells sa utak ay nililinis ang mga sirang bahagi o sobrang koneksyon para manatiling maayos ang takbo ng ating isip. Kapag natutulog tayo, mas aktibo pa ito na parang garbage collector ng utak na naglilinis ng mga basurang selula at lumang koneksyon. At sa proseso ng paglaki, lalo na sa adolescents, tinatanggal ng utak ang mga hindi na ginagamit na koneksyon para mas maging matalino, mas mahusay, at mas handa tayo sa adult life. Kaya oo, kumakain ng sarili ang utak mo, pero ginagawa niya ito para mas maging mahusay ka.
Kaunting kaalaman na malaking dagdag talino. Abangan muli ang susunod na Dagling Kaalaman.
Paano nga ba mag-register para magkaroon ng schedule sa Bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center? Narito ang mga dapat gawin. Gamit ang iyong mobile device, pumunta sa eGov.ph app. Pwede itong i-download mula sa Apple App Store o sa Google Play Store. Gumawa ng account. Ilagay ang email address, valid mobile number, pagkatapos ay makakatanggap ka ng one-time code sa iyong email. Gamitin ang code sa eGov app para sa verification ng iyong account at ng mga impormasyong ibinigay. Congratulations! Meron ka ng eGov PH app account. Pwede mo na ma-access ang iba't ibang serbisyo ng gobyerno kabilang ang mga serbisyo sa Bagong Pilipinas Presidential Action Center.
Mabilis ang trivia, dagdag talino. Heto na ang Dagling Kaalaman.
Madalas ka bang magpuyat at kulang sa tulog? Lumalabas sa pag-aaral na ang madalas sa pagpupuyat at laging kulang sa tulog ay nakakaapekto sa iyong kalusugan, partikular sa iyong puso at metabolismo. Maaari itong maging sanhi ng hypertension, mataas na kolesterol, stroke, heart attack, obesity, diabetes at iba pa. Kaya tandaan, sleep well, live well.
Kaunting kaalaman na malaking dagdag talino. Abangan muli ang susunod na Dagling Kaalaman.
Itinuloy na po natin ang zero balance billing. Libre po. Ibig sabihin, ang serbisyo sa basic accommodation sa ating mga DOH na ospital, wala nang babayaran ang pasyente.
Po, ang dami pong challenge, hindi po namin alam kung saan namin kukunin, ganon, nag-iisip kung paano namin mababayaran. Siyempre po, masayang-masaya, super saya po dahil na zero billing po kami. Opo, malaking ano po talaga, malaking tulong po. Mabilis lang din po.
Bayad na ang bill ninyo. Uulitin ko, wala nang kailangan bayaran ng pasyente basta sa DOH Hospital dahil bayad na po ang bill ninyo.
Naiiyak ako kasi sobrang saya. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President Bongbong Marcos Jr. Hindi kami nagkamali ng taong ihinalal.
Mabilis ang trivia, dagdag talino. Heto na ang Dagling Kaalaman.
Nasubukan niyo na bang gumamit ng QR codes? Ang QR codes o Quick Response Codes ay naimbento noong 1994 ni Masahiro Hara, isang engineer ng Japanese company na Denso Wave. Pangunahing layunin nito ang pag-label at i-track ang automotive parts. Sa pagnanais na maikalat at makatulong ito sa lipunan, isinulong ng Denso ang Advanced International Standardization at ginawang open source ang technology. At ngayon, ito ay ginagamit na sa lahat, mula sa mobile payments hanggang sa restaurants, event tickets at authentication system.
Kaunting kaalaman na malaking dagdag talino. Abangan muli ang susunod na Dagling Kaalaman.
Here in the program Front and Center, while we are waiting for our communication with Ms. Dana Sandoval of the Bureau of Immigration, let me just read some important updates regarding the past travel here in the Philippines of the Bondi Beach gunmen. Now, as we speak, the National Bureau of Immigration, or NBI, is now investigating the visit of two individuals who were identified as the gunmen behind the deadly mass shooting at the Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, as this was stated by NBI spokesperson Palmer Malyari. Malyari said the Counterterrorism Division, or CTD, is coordinating with the Bureau of Immigration. We'll ask that later. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, and the NBI regional and district offices in order to backtrack the activities of the two shooters. Meanwhile, prior to our communication with Ms. Dana Sandoval, she stated that the 50-year-old Sajid Akram and 24-year-old Navid Akram arrived in the Philippines from Sydney on November 1. So we are hoping that we'll get some details regarding that, more details regarding the travel of the so-called Bondi Beach gunmen. She also said both men reported Davao as their final destination. They then left the country on November 28 on a connected on a connecting flight from Davao to Manila with Sydney as their final destination. Law enforcement authorities abroad are reportedly investigating why the pair traveled here in our country. As we mentioned earlier, on December 14, which is a Sunday, these gunmen opened fire at a Jewish holiday celebration, which is Hanukkah, at Bondi Beach, killing 15 people. The death toll climbed to 16 after one of the gunmen was killed. It is considered the second deadliest mass shooting in Australian history. We are still trying to have our lines connected with Miss Sandoval, because this is very important, as the Bondi Beach incident attracted the attention of a lot of people around the world, and of course, as we mentioned earlier, it is viewed as anti-Semitic since Hanukkah is a Jewish celebration. Let's just read what Hanukkah is for a background for our listeners on what is Hanukkah, because some people might not be familiar on what Hanukkah is. So Hanukkah is a lesser Jewish festival lasting 8 days from the 25th day of Kislev, which is in December, and commemorating the rededication of the temple in 165 BC by the Maccabees after its desecration by the Syrians. It is marked by the successive kindling of 8 lights. So that's what Hanukkah is. Just for some background for our listeners, we of course the word Hanukkah came from the Hebrew word Chanukah, means dedication, and thus named because it celebrates the dedication of the Holy Temple. Also spelled Hanukkah, the Hebrew word is actually pronounced with a guttural ka sound. So it's not actually Hanukkah but Kanuka. Ayan, Kanuka, not Chanukah. Ayan, that's the clarification of how to pronounce Kanuka. That's Kanuka instead of Hanukkah, or Chanukah, which means a dedication in Hebrew. And we're still trying to reach out to the Bureau of Immigration. So we'll take another break, and we hope that when we return, we will be joined by Bureau of Immigration, or BI, as spokesperson, Miss Dana Sandoval. So here are some reminders again from our station.
Time to celebrate kulturang Pinoy. Tradisyon, musika, sining, literatura at iba pa. Anything and everything fun and Filipino. Ito ang Pinoy Kultura.
Naaalala niyo pa ba ang mga katagang ito?
Amoy pawis, amoy araw. Ano ba yan? Puro sugat ka na naman! Bakit wala na naman kapares yung tsinelas mo? Ang dungis mo!
Ma! Tama na! Ayos lang, di ba? Masaya naman tayo naglalaro sa kalye ng sipa, patintero, agawang base, habulan, jolen, trumpo, text, at marami pang iba.
Some Filipino games just show how creative we are. All we need are players and nothing else. Ang saya balikan ng ating kabataan.
Kain,
Tulog.
laro, laro, at laro.
O ano, game na?
Pagkabilang kong 3, nakatago na kayo!
Yan ang Pinoy Kultura, because our culture is cool.
Huy, nabiktima ka na ba ng fake news sa panahon ng digital media? Learn how to spot fake news. Check the source. Kung di legit, dapat magduda. Check the purpose. Informative or troll post at clickbait lang. Check the ownership. Mapagkakatiwalaan ba ang pinagkukuhanan nito? Check the time and date. Baka naman outdated na yung news na yan, ha? SPOT. Together, let's spot fake news. Tiyakin ang katotohanan, fake news ay labanan.
A friendly message from PCO, DepEd, CHED, DSWD, DILG, PBS, at Radyo Pilipinas.
And now we're back here in the program Front and Center. On behalf of our colleague Jerome Toledo, this has been your host for today, Steph Vicente. We are still trying to reach to the Bureau of Immigration regarding the travel details of the Bondi Beach gunmen. But for the meantime, let's read some updates which were released yesterday or were stated yesterday as this travel of the Bondi Beach gunmen here in the Philippines was mentioned in a Malacanang press briefing yesterday. So Malacanang on Tuesday mentioned there in the said press briefing that the visit of the suspects in the mass shooting at Australia's Bondi Beach to the Philippines is not considered as a serious security concern here in the country. Citing the National Security Council, Communications Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Attorney Claire Castro said the reported prior travel of those involved in the Bondi Beach shooting incident is currently under validation. As she stated, and I quote, "At this time, there is no confirmed information indicating that their visit posed a security threat, and this is not considered a serious or immediate concern. Standard security, immigration, and counterterrorism protocols remain fully active with coordination ongoing with Australian authorities." And we're still trying to call BI spokesperson Ms. Dana Sandoval regarding the matter, because this is very important. As I mentioned, the Bondi Beach shooting incident at this act of shooting by Navid yes, there is Miss Dana Sandoval. So now we are joined again. We are joined again here in the program Front and Center by BI spokesperson Miss Dana Sandoval. Miss Dana, thank you again for joining us here in the program Front and Center. This is Steph Vicente again of Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Miss Dana.
Hello?
Hello? Yes. Miss Dana, can you hear me?
Yes, very clear po, Miss Steph.
Yes. Thank you so much again for joining us here in the program. As we mentioned, we are going to talk about the travel details of the two gunmen involved in the Bondi Beach shooting incident which happened last Sunday. So for context, a BI or Bureau of Immigration confirmed that the two gunmen arrived in the Philippines in early November. Can you walk us through the arrival and departure details of Sajid and Navid Akram and their immigration status while they were here in our country?
Yes, ma'am. When they arrived last November 1, they arrived at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport and went straight to Davao. Akram is an Indian national with Australian residence visa, while Navid Akram is an Australian national. So they stayed in Davao for 28 days, and then they left Davao via connecting flight back to Manila, and then all the way to Sydney, Australia on November 20th.
And what regarding that, what are their immigration status of both the Bondi Beach gunmen while they were here in the country?
They arrived here, and we don't. When we checked their derogatory records, we did not see any derogatory record, or watch list or Interpol alerts issued against them. There were no red flags, especially since they are coming from Australia and they're also Australian citizens. One of them is an Australian citizen. So we did not see any red flag upon their arrival.
And we would just like to ask what so they were using or were they using tourist visas while they were here in the Philippines?
Yes po, when they arrived in the Philippines, they entered using a tourist visa. They did not extend or get a different kind of visa when they arrived.
Yesterday that standard immigration protocols remain in place. Just for the information of our listeners here in front and center, what are the standard screening procedures conducted by the Bureau of Immigration for foreign nationals entering the country?
Yes, for foreign nationals entering the country, what we do is we have a centralized database which contains all the derogatory records of a foreign national who is trying to enter the Philippines. Once the passport is scanned, that database is activated, and we would be able to see if the subject has any warrant of arrest, any kind of derogatory record, a blacklist. We would be able to detect that through our centralized database. Apart from that, our database is also connected with Interpol. So if the subject has an Interpol watch list, and the Philippines is one of the countries that are able to see or were given this copy of this watch list, we would be able to see that through our system. We also receive different kinds of alerts and information from our counterparts abroad, like for example, those involved in sex tourism. We are able to get information about that, and we also include that in our centralized database.
And not have any bad records prior to the incident last Sunday. But of course, we would still like to know and inform the public regarding the measures which would prevent the entry of undesirable aliens. Just for the information of our listeners, what specific measures does the BI have in place to prevent, just in case they already have the records, the entry of so-called undesirable aliens into the Philippines?
Yes, our immigration officers are fully capable of detecting individuals who have bad records. That's the best way to describe it. The bad records trying to enter the Philippines. If these individuals have a derogatory record, if they're in the blacklist, or if there is an Interpol alert issued against them, our immigration officers would be able to detect that. And what we do is we deny their entry, and we send them back to the port of origin. If, example, the subject is here in the Philippines already, and we find that they have a derogatory record, say for example a fugitive, and they were able to enter the country before the issuance of the warrants against them, we have our tracker teams under the Fugitive Search Unit who locate and arrest these fugitives if they are inside the country already.
And of course, the Bondi Beach gunmen already left the Philippines before the incident occurred, but we would still like to ask this to you, Miss Dana. When new information surfaces after a foreign national has left the country, such as this, what review or validation process does the BI undertake?
Generally speaking, if we see that an individual has records in other countries, say for example, they're involved in major incidents such as this, we forward the information to our legal division for the initiation of blacklisting. Should the subjects attempt to re-enter the Philippines, they would already be blacklisted and they won't be able to set foot again in the country.
And in relation to that, we are just curious, how challenging is it for immigration officers to screen travelers like these gunmen who have no criminal or intelligence records at the time they entered the country?
Well, I guess it's very challenging because if you look at it on paper, their documents are perfect. They seem like they did not do anything suspicious at the moment in the country. So that's why, apart from immigration, we also have our the national government also has its different intelligence agencies that tries to monitor the movements of individuals that might be involved in suspicious activities in the Philippines.
Mm-mm. And as we speak, there is an ongoing coordination already with the Australian authorities since they are investigating what happened there. So how does the Bureau of Immigration work with foreign counterparts when incidents abroad involve these individuals who previously traveled to the Philippines?
In cases like this, if the documents or the information is needed from the Bureau of Immigration, we are very much willing to share the information. That would help in the investigation, particularly in solving big cases such as this. So we are ready with the information. We have sent information also to the Department of Justice, who would be able to use this information to see if there are any other
the government agencies here in our country. How does the Bureau of Immigration coordinate now with the Philippine National Police, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and other agencies aside from what was mentioned, which is the Department of Justice, when there are concerns about possible criminal or terrorist links?
Yes, what I could say is we have closer coordination with the Department of Justice, of course, the NBI, because the DOJ is the mother department of the Bureau of Immigration, and the NBI is also being under the DOJ family. Is the sister of the Bureau of Immigration. So more or less, we live in the same house, so we are able to coordinate closer when it comes to investigations for certain cases. But for other government agencies, it's really nicer now because many government agencies or most government agencies have close coordination with the BI. So we are able to jointly investigate matters that require both of our attention. Unlike before, if you've noticed in the past, the government, each has acts on their own. That's what they call the kanya-kanya system. So kanya-kanya, bahala ka in your investigation, bahala ako in my investigation. That was in the past already. Now, if you've noticed the investigations, the raids, the actions being taken, most of them are done by an interagency. So all the agencies that are concerned in the matter, which is being deployed to act on such cases. So our relationship with other government agencies remains strong, and if they need information on investigations that they are conducting, then we are very much willing to share it.
It seems that our communication is being cut. We'll call again Miss Dana Sandoval to expand her response on our previous question. Also, yes, Miss Dana, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me? You may go ahead.
Yes. So if there is information that they would need from the Bureau of Immigration, we are very much willing to share it with them to be able to aid investigations that are being conducted by their agencies.
Mm-mm. And someone has just asked this what aside from watch list, what behavioral or document related red flag
Of arrest issued by the court against them, or a whole departure order, which is also issued by the court, compelling them to face their cases here in the Philippines. For those entering the Philippines, we also have other types of derogatory records that we get from our foreign counterparts and our partners uh, outside the country, like the Interpol. We have the Interpol database, which is linked to our centralized derogatory database. So the Interpol database would have different notices, red, orange, green. So these are different types of notices that gives uh, information, or that tells the BI what to do in case the subject has been encountered. Sometimes the Interpol notice would require us to discreetly gather information against the subject. So we would be allowing their travel, but we would be discreetly getting information which will be used by the Interpol in investigation. Or sometimes it would be an arrest warrant, which would require the BI to initiate an action to ensure the arrest of the subject. So these are the different types of derogatory record. We also get intelligence information, say for example, on fugitives from different countries, as well as those who are coming to the Philippines for sex tourism. We would get that if they have a record on of sex-related crimes in other countries, our neighboring countries, our different countries send us information that this person is a registered sex offender. And because immigration laws state that we cannot allow the entry of sex offenders in the Philippines, we stop their entry if they try to enter the Philippines, and we also blacklist them.
And how does the Bureau of Immigration also balance maintaining open borders for legitimate travelers while ensuring strong national security?
It's actually a very timely question, because it's actually one of the things that were discussed in the recent Tokyo Immigration Forum, which was which the Commissioner Joel Anthony Viado joined last week. So in the forum, they discussed how to strengthen border measures for different immigration agencies worldwide, but at the same time, of course, not stop or ensure the ease of travel for those legitimate travelers. I think it's a concern not just in the Philippines, but also of other immigration agencies worldwide. What we do is really, first, we coordinate with our counterparts to make regional efforts in strengthening border management. Because it's not just the fight of the Philippines, our neighboring countries are also facing the same issues. So joint efforts with our neighbors would really help strengthen border management for our region. Apart from that, we ensure that our technologies are strengthened to be able to better detect individuals who might be undesirable aliens. That's why we have rolled out the Advanced Passenger Information System. It was recently rolled out, I think, 2 months ago, a month or so ago. And this system allows us to be able to vet foreign nationals prior to entering the Philippines, and also review and look into trends, do trends analysis, because that's also very important for us to see what patterns are we seeing in terms of legitimate travel and illegitimate travel, illegal travel. What common denominator does these undesirable aliens have? So we would be able to detect that through our Advanced Passenger Information System.
And of course, how does of course public confidence rely on clear communication, especially on these cases wherein these the so-called Bondi Beach gunmen actually traveled here in to the country before a month before the incident happened. How does the Bureau of Immigration ensure transparency while handling sensitive security-related information involving these kind of foreign nationals?
We follow the data privacy laws of the country. So we handle our information with confidentiality and privacy. But at the same time, while investigations are ongoing, we share this information with law enforcement agencies to be able to help with the investigation.
Mm-mm. And I guess my last question would be what reassurance can the Bureau of Immigration or BI give the public regarding border security and monitoring of foreign visitors? Go ahead.
Yes, what we can say is our border security covered by the Bureau of Immigration is very strong. We have a strong centralized database. We have connections with the Interpol and other foreign governments. So we see this as a very strong deterrent for foreign nationals who are trying to enter the country for illegal purposes. And we are continuing to strengthen these border security measures by coordinating with our counterparts abroad to be able to ensure that we have the same technologies, we are using the same technologies, and we are in the same track as other developed countries.
Mm-mm. And with that, thank you so much again, Miss Dana, for joining us here in the program Front and Center. Until next time, mabuhay po kayo.
Salamat po and mabuhay po kayo.
And we are just joined by Bureau of Immigration or BI spokesperson, Ms. Dana Sandoval, regarding on the previous travel here in the Philippines of the Bondi Beach gunmen. At this point, we'll be ending today's edition of Front and Center. We would like to thank first our technical team composed of Milo Jonella, Susan Aison, Hiro Lucero, and Justin Osias, who made the program possible. Thank you as well to our station manager, Mr. Ray Sampang. Stay tuned here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service for more updates. And as mentioned earlier, we're now back on shortwave radio. Front and Center is part of our English service, which airs from 10 o'clock to 11:30 in the morning Philippine Standard Time. You may listen to us via the following shortwave frequencies, which I mentioned early in the program, at 12.020 megahertz, 15.640 megahertz, and 17.665 megahertz. Until the next episode of our program, on behalf of Jerome Toledo, this has been your host for today, Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.